What was the idea behind creating Superteam? Like, was there a gap in the market? Was there something where you're like, man, we're missing this whole thing. What do we need to do? We need to help people build stuff. What was the thesis on creating it in the first place?
I think there were two. So the first thesis was, which is still what I hold to today, is that crypto was at the time, and even now, largely an emerging market story, right? Most of the value, most of the use cases were for economies where there was relatively lesser trust, relatively lesser financial infrastructure, all that kind of good stuff. So that was one key thing, that we wanted to focus on some emerging markets, or ascending markets, as we like to call them. And then the second part of the thesis was this recognition that community was going to be a moat and a value in a way that it had never been before, because you could financialize communities, but also using crypto economic incentives to kind of coordinate people all around the world to do interesting things. So we really wanted to double down on community as opposed to like tech products. And we really wanted to double down on ascending markets as opposed to, like the US or Singapore, which is where I lived at the time. And so that was kind of the opportunity that we saw. In particular, I think we knew that if we wanted to serve these emerging markets or these ascending market participants, it couldn't be ETH at the time. Like gas was just too expensive. And, then we were looking at alternative ecosystems like alt layer ones or AL2s. And I think Solana really caught our interest for a bunch of reasons we could talk about. But that was the kind of the third pillar of the thesis, is that Solana is where the talent is going. It is where the really interesting use cases are. And so let's do the community thing in an emerging market for Solana specifically.